Hey guys, I am back again for another Jurassic World Mattel tour review. We're back at it with the Hammond Collection, and I kept my promise. I finally got the Hammond Collection Pyroraptor. Of course, it's definitely on my list of anticipated figures because, again, we have Pyroraptor sculpts in the past, the ones in the background, but this one might be the definitive Pyroraptor because they actually did get a lot of things a lot more correct than the other variations. So yeah, this is definitely going to be very nice to take a look at, and I'm going to go by as quick as possible with the package because this is the typical standard aesthetic that we are seeing with a Hammond Collection package before they eventually change it someday. We got the Pyroraptor right here looking pretty neat, the logo, the name, and all that, and the side, which showcases a digital rendering of the figure right here with the Jurassic World Dominion logo right there, and well, Hammond Collection's logo on this side. Then we got the Pyroraptor in action in the digital renders right here, a little bio of the description of the particular sequence, and then you get the other figures in the line. Of course, at the top, we got the Jurassic World logo and Hammond Collection logo on the top, but that's not important. But other figures in the line, I already reviewed the Claire figure, the Therizinosaurs, and the Giganotosaurus. I don't have Delta. I don't plan on getting Delta, though I pretty much know that that's a pretty damn good figure, but I just didn't have any plans on getting it just yet, or I probably end up missing out on it like I usually do. Try not to keep as much promises, but let's go ahead and take this Pyroraptor out of the package and take a closer look at it. Alrighty, so we got the Hammond Collection Pyroraptor out of the package, and I'm just gonna have to admit it was a pain in the absolute ass to get this tail on here. I am not sure if the peg is supposed to not be inserted all the way in just for people to just take the tail off and put it back in the package if they don't feel like, you know, throwing away the package, or I don't know what the heck it is, but man, my hands actually do feel a little shaky right at the moment. They hurt because I was trying to get that tail on there. But regardless of that issue and also a few other tiny issues I have with this figure, I will still definitely say that it is basically the perfect Pyroraptor in terms of how the proportions look. It's an overall better looking sculpt than the previous mainline renditions. And of course, it definitely looks a lot more movie accurate compared to the mainline rendition. There we go. As you can see, that's the likeness of the Pyroraptor, if I can get it as good as I can. But yeah, as you can see, it's definitely a good likeness. Definitely looks really good. You can see the eye is also a glass eye. You can definitely see it kind of looking onto you, I guess. It looks like it's staring directly into you or looking the other way. Also, can I just admit that it's definitely a nice sculpt in terms of the head and the teeth. The teeth is what I'm actually surprised because they're super tiny. They're not cartoonish. They actually look really nicely sculpted. They're very tiny and they're quite sharp. I would say they are quite sharp, but not like sharp, but they look sharp. That's all I can really say. The Pyroraptor's overall likeness is actually really incredible. Of course, this is straight up like it came right out of the film, the way it looks. The upper side is painted on the top right there. The lower end, obviously, here is painted. I don't think we see that much texturing in tongue, but it looks pretty nice. Overall, it looks very, very good. Again, that's a great looking Pyroraptor likeness. This definitely looks better than the mainline version. The background, of course, you got the feathers on the top right here, sculpted really nicely. The overall look of the figure just matches how the Pyroraptor looks in the film. Even the flock of feathers down here on the arms, that's exactly how it's supposed to look. Though I don't know what's with this joint, but I don't know why it looks like I could break this on accident, but it doesn't look like it's going to break. But I had to be very careful with this joint. That's all I gotta really say. I guess they did a really dang good job of representing the look of the Pyroraptors. So again, this is also painted very nicely too. It's airbrushed in, doesn't look too bad. They painted the claws right here. They didn't paint the third claw that's on the underside, or even the way it looks from the outside over here. Because if I would look at the picture, they definitely look like they continued to paint on from here. Yet the picture right here, you can definitely see that they continued the claws and continued to paint the claws and the rest of the feathers on that side. So they basically just dropped it on this one, unless this is just mine. I haven't seen other Pyroraptor reviews or any other figure reviews, or just sitting under a rock because I'm focusing on a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, this is kind of lazy on the Hammond Collection point because you expect a lot more being on this area. So I expect at least the paint to go down over here and on that additional claws right there on the third claw. So that is kind of lazy on their point, but overall on the outside definitely looks really good. Texturing of those feathers is nicely applied to the overall sculpt. Even the feet are a lot smaller because the mainline variations have some really big feet, and even the toe claws on this one is a lot better and much more like an actual raptor claw than the other variations. Well, I'm most talking about the mainline variation. We'll get to comparing it into a little bit, but yeah. And here's the tail, the hard to put on tail. It's also very rubbery and it has an obvious wiring on there, so it counts as an additional articulation point. You could move it upward or downward, but whatever. But again, it's also nicely painted. It's not like airbrush or anything, but it would have been cool if it was. But I think this is definitely very nice too because it still represents how it looks in the actual film. I mean, again, this Pyroraptor looks so incredible. It definitely has an overall improved look. It just looks so great. Really love the Pyroraptor. And this Hammond Collection figure is definitely great. If I could get this tail in a little bit more further in there so it can stay in place. But yeah, overall, I definitely really love this figure. Aside from like those tiny little issues I have, it's definitely a perfect figure regardless of the tiny little problems I might have with it. Of course, you got the Jurassic Park logo down there on the foot. The other side doesn't have anything under there. Oh, by the way, underside is all black. Really nothing else to add there. And yeah, I gotta say, it's a very great looking figure. Also, let me see if I can try to test the lighting on that Pyroraptor's eye. I'm assuming this is the best way I can get it. This is how the Pyroraptor's eye looks if you place it in the right type of lighting, I guess. You can definitely see it from there. Definitely looks pretty nice. It's not looking into another direction. Basically, it's on its own standard look. I guess it's not like the Giganotosaurus the way that one was designed. Yeah, right off the bat in the comparison, it is a total night and day difference. The Pyroraptor in the middle, the Hammond Collection one, being the far superior, much more movie accurate scope. And then you got the other variations. This is the Chaos Containment or Containment Chaos playset, whatever the heck the name was. This was the playset variation, and this is the Kayla 2-pack variation of the Pyroraptor. I mean, you can clearly see the difference. I mean, I still like these figures, but they weren't entirely perfect. Obviously, they weren't perfect. They got the weirdest looking feet at this point, the way they're shaped, the way that toe claw right there is shaped. I mean, you can definitely see a lot more when they didn't paint it underneath here, but wow, this is so weird looking at this and comparing it to this version. This is definitely a very fantastic figure compared to these two. I mean, again, no shade thrown into these two figures, but they definitely have their obvious inaccuracies, but they're pretty good figures. It's just this right here is definitely the peak when it comes to the look of the Pyroraptor. Alrighty, that's going to be it for this review of the Jurassic World Hammond Collection Pyroraptor. Definitely really do like this figure, and I definitely do recommend picking it up, even if it does have its obvious issues because it's not entirely 100% perfect. But regardless, I will still call it the perfect Pyroraptor because it's definitely a lot better. A massive improvement of the other Pyroraptors we got since Jurassic World Dominion's release. And yeah, that's basically it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will be seeing you guys later.